Okay, let's do the new one. Forget. What's this? Kagetsu Tohya production notes. There are about 200 of these messages. There are also a hidden character. So try many times. On a certain day, special message. Alright. Okay, let's start the new game. We're doing the nice 10 Nights of Dream. I think that's Kagetsu Tohya. So let's do it. Story for the evening. I want to begin. I'm curious. My hair clings to my back. Excuse me. Perhaps perhaps I have just grown used to this waiting. But lately, I often find myself feeling down. Because my mind is filled with dark anxiety, I cannot even manage any wishful thinking. Something whispered to me that I long ago lost the person I wait for, and that just the warmth that lingers in my breast and just an illusion. Well, in that case, I might as well take this burdensome hair and cut it all off, I think. Whoa, what the hell? Who are we? We're not Shiki. What hair? What? Is this arc when she was Hime? Maybe? Because she does have short hair for some reason. The way things are now. I think that might be a bad after. Hold on. I think that might not be a bad idea after all. You think that's arc? I'm thinking it's arc. A story for the evening. Let's go. What does that mean? January 7 in the beginning? Where are we? Is this Akia? Who is this? And so I returned to the school dormitory. January 8th. The first 2 days of the new year passed in a dull haze. And then 5 more days until this day. The day of the dormitory opening finally arrived. I'm not fond of these first and last days of the changing calendar. It seems like not just the temperature, but the calendar too, has frozen solid, as if the march of time has slowed to the snail pace. To my impatient self, this dullness affects my temper. One gloomy sigh. The winter break that felt longer than the entire summer vacation still has 2 days remaining. Ignore Kohaku vocal and Hisaway wordless suggestion to remain the entire state until the opening ceremonies. I returned here to the dormitory as soon as I could. Yeah, this is Akia. Damn, Akia want to cut her hair. I don't mind, she does. She did mention that she doesn't like her hair. Her red hair, at least. One reason was truly unlike me. The person who should have returned did not come back. You think this is a different timeline? Oh shit! What if they have like all the timeline from the main Tsukihime game, right? The one that we just saw previously in the first playthrough was Arc. That was Arc good ending. And this playthrough is Akia true ending, where Shiki's dead, or he disappeared, I should say. Dang, that means we get to see. What if they got a side story for like Shio true ending too, and then Hisui true ending? That'd be dope. I hope I'm right. I hope this is like this timeline is the ending where Shiki's gone. That'd be a pretty cool epilogue. Okay, it wasn't that the idle time was painful, but rather I grew to hate myself for becoming used to this idleness, and thus run away to this place where the person I wait for could not be expected to appear. How truly unlike myself. Walking down the moderately new but still old-fashioned hallway. Asagami Private Girls Academy had counted 50 years since its founding, and this dormitory has counted as many. The school buildings were renovated years ago to give the appropriate outward appearance for a noted boarding school, but the dormitory has yet maintained the same wooden construction that it had 50 years before. Although that too was true, only until last year, and now the reconstruction of the dormitory proceeds bit by bit. During this winter break, the dormitory is stated being rebuilt for the first floor up. By summer, reconstruction will be complete, and I suppose that will be farewell to the old building. Asagami Girls Academy generally requires the student to live in the dormitories, so most of the student has lived here. Surrounding the dormitory is a grove of trees. Because that grove is basically a high encircling wall, there are only 2 gates of any size to allow passage from the ground to the outside. Engraved on the main gate to the phrase, "Abandon all youth, ye who enters here," a phrase which I think I have heard something similar to before. The truth of that phrase is made obvious by the end of the 2nd day in the dormitory. The staff, who are never seen it crack to sing a joke, may seem quite capricious at times, but of course that graffiti was scarred by some gradually. After exchanging greeting with a number of other students in the hall, I arrived at my room. Student council and student government members with tasks start working today, so there are students scattered throughout the building. Additionally, there are no small number of students for whom being at home is unpleasant and who have fled to school. Because of that, I thought my roommates would have returned already, but Soka and Hanepin bags are missing. So the 2 of them haven't come back yet. Hanepin hates going home and was boasting that she would spend the entire break hiding out in the dormitory. But since I don't see her, I guess that means she was found and forcibly sent back. I pulled myself together, because I'm skilled at getting along by myself. The sunlight streaming from the window dimmed, as if the room was within a deep gray cloud. Even so, it wasn't dark enough to need the lights on, and to my present self, this faint light was quite comfortable. Walking to the window, I reached out and placed my bags on my desk. There was nothing else on my desk. Pretty obvious since I cleaned everything before the break. My desktop was as flat and smooth as a freshly made pudding. Weird. An envelope? Or so it should have been, but there was an obstacle sitting there. The envelope, purple in color, with no address or anything else written on it. With no address, it should have not been delivered. With no return address, it should have been non-returnable as well. But that letter was sitting there on my desk. Dang! You know, Akia said that she wanna cut her hair. That'd be so dope if we see Akia with a haircut. Later. That'd be really cool. I still wanna believe this might be a different timeline, but it's like Akia true ending from the original main game, Tsukihime. But if this is all the same timeline, I guess I'm cool with it anyway. It's supposed to be a fun visual novel. But that's fun too, seeing the epilogue. I like seeing after stories. Gray twilight. A purple envelope placed in an unoccupied room. This is a mystery, is it not? I took that purple envelope in my hand. Inside was one sheet of white paper. What was written there, I already knew. My only wish, I would have put it into words, but instead, it was not even a single letter written on it. Just a cowardly blank sheet of white paper. In other words, this is the outcome of a little ritual undertaken on a whim right before winter break. Of course, the person who performed this ritual was me. Thus, this envelope was one that I myself, Tohno Akia, had sent without addresses or address. Originally, this should have definitely never been returned, an utterly meaningless letter. 2/7, January 9th. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. What's 2/7 mean? Isn't 2/7 like February 7th or July 2nd? But it said January 9th. Alright, whatever. I guess it's January 9th. The 9th of January dawned. Because classes resume tomorrow, the dormitory has begun to bustle with the figures of returning students. And particularly heard amongst those students is, huh? Akia-chan, have you seen my tools? We've seen her in the beginning of the game, remember? I dropped them. Well, not in the game, but, you know, as one of those greetings. Those weird greeting stuff. Skits, I should say. I dropped them over by your stuff right before the break. This person, Misawa Hanae, nicknamed Hanepin, just now returned to our room. Hana, when you say your tools, are you perhaps referring to that purse in which you store scissors and solder? Yeah, that's it. They're my precious tools, so I thought I hadn't left them with you, but I guess I took them with me after all. I should clarify here. Hana-pen is not currently suffering from lack of sleep, nor does she possess any particular weakness, wakefulness. This girl is from first to last like this, as if her brain produces nothing but alpha waves, giving her an ability to enjoy life that's inevitable, inviolable. I see. If you hurry, you may be in time. All the garbage from the break is going to be incinerated, so with luck, you may find it before then. Hey, I don't understand, but Akiya-chan, I think you just said something scary. Not really. It is simply that if I saw something familiar back atop what should have been my neat and tidy desk, I would have thrown it in the trash. Wow, bruh, what the hell? Wow, that really is scary. Seemingly unhurriedly at all, Hana-pen tilts her head. Then right now my back should be in the incinerator. If your luck is good. Should it be poor, would it not already be rising to the heavens? Wow, Akiya-chan, you got to even meaner since you got back. I know. You got dumped when you went home, didn't you? Yes, that's exactly right. However, Hane, is this alright? If you leave now, you still may be able to make it in time. It's a waste, but that's alright. During the break, I brought myself some new tools, so that fourth generation can rest in peace. Relatively quickly surrendering, Hana-pen returned to sorting out her baggage. What the hell? Wait a minute, didn't you say it's my precious tools? Your precious tool? Whatever. They're old. I got new tools. Dang, so much for precious tools. Hane, I think you already know this, but do not place your belongings in my space or soak us. Yeah, I know. Hana-pen responded, even as she started to lay out her clothing on Soka's bed. As to why she had put her bag on my desk anyway. It's because her desk always looked like this. Doing her homework on it at night is one thing, as it is sitting before my desk. Inside, Akiya-chan's desk is so nice and clean, but sometimes she simply uses it as a place to drop her stuff. If some strange bag is dropped on my desk, then obviously it will be thrown in the garbage. Dang. Akiya is pretty mean for a roommate. Asagami Girls Academy is a famous school with a long and proper history. School regulations are very strict, and that strictness is unchanged here in the dormitory. First off, curfew is very strictly enforced. Those with club activities must return before 6 p.m. Those without must return by 5 p.m. At 6:30 p.m., all residents line up in the hallway and proceed in order to the dining room, where private conversations are prohibited during the meal. When the meal is over, each grade is allowed a period to use the bath, and the Friends Room opens. The Friends Room is a large public room that the students may use freely, and they frequently go there for after-dinner tea and conversation. Since dormitory is one of which private luxuries are forbidden, the only place that one may enjoy tea is the Friends Room. The Friends Room is managed by members of the school staff, and upon request she will provide tea or desserts. There are no restrictions on the number one may request, nor is there any charge, but with all the surrounding eyes, it is not a place one can feel at home. Those who use the Friends Rooms are mostly the middle schoolers and those first years who have recently only risen from middle school. Second and third years who are used to the dormitory lifestyles are usually figured out a number of ways to snack tea and snacks into individual rooms for private tea parties. In the dormitory, naturally various groups tend to form, and once a week the head of each group gather for a special tea. Of course, these groups do not get along, so the school culture changes depending on how much influence is rooted in those meetings. And thus, because I am a member of the student council, I have little influence in the dormitory. That the school belongs to the student council and the dormitory to the student government has long been the tradition of the Asagami Academy. In this way, everyone passes 3 hours of free time before retiring for the evening. As studying, then room lights may remain lit until 11 p.m., but there are a few students who take this rule at face value. Dormitory rooms are assigned at 3 people to 1 room. There are special exceptions to those assignments, and highest ranking students, the group leader, have single rooms. Those so chosen are thought to have special privileges, and this is one way to show them in this small world of the school. Last year, for only a few weeks, I transferred to another school. Unlike the Asagami Girls Academy, the school was not another academy sealed away from the outside world, but instead a typical public school. That unled, unordered, and muddled atmosphere was not something I liked, but neither did I dislike it. So this yeah, she transferred to Tohno school, right? Shiki school. Yeah, it's making me think this might be from the timeline with Akia true ending. Maybe. Because in the Akia route, she transferred to Tohno school for a little bit. Compared to that school, Asagami unusual, no, an anachronistic status was made plain to me, and because of that, I had a largely lost interest in the influence battle within the dormitory. Yes, this may be a discussion, but a cafeteria where students may decide what to consume with vending machines, where one may acquire a drink at any time are absent from Asagami. Those things may be convenient, but their lack is no particular inconvenience. Perhaps I too am an anachronism? After all, I am fond of this environment. Fade out. Oh, it's afternoon. Having finished my work for the student council, I returned to my room to see that my roommates had finished unloading their baggage. I'm back! I see you have returned as well, Soka. Yeah, I got back an hour ago. The moment I returned and saw what a mess Hane had made of the room, I grew depressed. Soka said, in a deep and inflected voice. Excuse me. What the fuck? Is that her last name? Is it Tsukihime? Anachronism? Anachronism. Alright. Hopefully, I might get it right next time though. Hey, is her last name really Tsukihime though? Or is that her first name? I think Soka's probably her last name. What the hell is this? Something consistent of the time period it's in. That's cool, the meaning. Just as she seems, she is a girl who competes for first or second most unique among the students, and also my roommate. Born and raised in a household even stricter than my own, her reaction to that environment has led her taste into a number of unique categories. That the daughter of the effective lord of a prefecture, the daughter of the house of samurai, a daughter raised from the bloodline, should wear such clothing makes the severity of her rebellious spirit easy to imagine. By those clothes, you returned from a concert? You were getting rid of the stress you accumulated at home? That's right, but that place I'm wandering into was terrible. Now I'm even more stressed. It's not as if Western style is the true way or anything, but they should at least be able to tell the difference between rock and other categories of music. Soka gave another gloomy sigh. At this point, I do not think I should have complained, but this girl is just as much as a rocker as she looks. There seem to be these punk and heavy metal categories, but I do not know these sort of details. In the first place, back from a concert, I may have asked, but in reality, I have never seen such a concert myself. For me to speak about music at all is rather presumptuous. So, it seems like both of us are depressed then. Yeah, but the causes of mine are not as deep as yours. I can lick my wounds and be healed, but Tohno, your wounds won't heal no matter how long you lick them. Casually, Soka commented about a rather sore spot. I guess so. I answered in a similar light tone and crossed the room. Dang, dude, I'm confused now on the timeline. Right. I know, strangely and vaguely, that this entire story is supposed to be a dream. But I can't help but think about the timeline. You think? Oh, man. I guess I'm gonna finish my piece since I already brought it up. You think? You think Shiki's already dead? In all the stories? I would believe that, right? Because Soka went to a concert. And that's not far off from the other playthrough that we did, the other day that we did. Where Soka went to the concert with Akira-chan. What is Shiki? It's just a fragment of everyone's imagination. And he's dead this entire time. And because we're in Akiya point of view, right? Maybe this is the reality. Bruh, that'd be mind-blowing. Alright, let's continue. I had to get that off my chest. I answer in a similar light tone and cross the room. Sitting in my own seat, I pulled out a roll of surgical tape. Then I began to cover the cuts on my fingers one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4. At this rate, tomorrow, I'll need to get a new roll from the clinic. Then, are you two of you finished unpacking? Soka, you never have much baggage, but Hane usually have mountain to unpack. Phew. That's right, but everyone's done. Instead of the heartless Akiya-chan, Soul-chan helped me, and in this short time, it's all tidy. You stupid idiot. I like her, bro. I already like her. Triumphantly posed Hanapin. Soka, you're so nice. Even though you had only just returned, you're already looking out for Hane. I couldn't do that. Dang! Yeah, that's true. No matter how she tries to get her way, I don't give in. That's probably the reason I said to have the second coldest heart in the dorm. Is that so? But if So-chan is the second coldest, that means Akiya-chan has to be the hardest heart. Hold it, Hane. Don't be so rude. Among the underclassmen, I'm known as a helpful senpai. The one I have no sympathy for are those like you and Soka. See, right there. Right there, meaning what, Soka? That's why you're the only one in this entire dorm who can ignore Hane. Tohno, if someone has any faults, then even to a child, you show no mercy. Soka make a sharp face as she declared that no mercy line. She may have been rude to say it, but it is absolutely true. So there's nothing I can say in return. I like that face. The middle schooler like to say that the ghost of 7 mysteries isn't as scary as Tohno senpai. At this rate, by the time you're a senpai, you're a senior, they'll be using your name as a charm against demons. Went Soka, a very masculine chuckle. Is that so? Using me as a charm would probably backfire, however. Cutting short this conversation, this time I pulled a compass compressed out of my desk. You like the art styles more than the new one? Oh, you like these art styles more than the remake? I kind of like them too. I don't know if I like them more than the remake though. The remake been growing on me a little bit because I've been watching a lot of trailers, especially for Type Lumina, mostly on Xiao. I don't know if I like Xiao new design yet. It's growing on me, but I don't know if I like it more than the old art. I used to think I liked the old art more, but it slowly grows on me, the new art. Especially if you have the remake. I have dang, I want to show you guys. I have the remake. I got the box right there. I haven't unpacked it yet, but I can't wait. I don't know. Art in this game in particular is better. I haven't seen Arc. I actually never really analyzed her like that. I mostly saw Xiao. Mostly Xiao and Shiki. I don't like Shiki new design. Because he's a little bit, I feel like he's a little bit more buff, right? He's supposed to be like a sick kid. But he's like, I feel like he's a little bit more buff. But it makes sense too though. Because, you know, he's Nanaya. And he's like athletic as hell. Fight vampires. So I guess that's alright. But I do like his new glasses. That's the only thing I think I like. It'll grow on me probably, but the one I've been mostly seeing is Shiel new design. Shiel new design, and I've been looking back at Shiel old design. I don't know what I like more. It seems pretty even for me. He has anemia. Yeah, it's kind of weird that he's like kind of, you know, buff, but I guess it makes sense at the same time because you know he's a Nanaya, and he do fight vampires, so it wouldn't make sense if he's like scrawny, skinny, fighting vampires. Gotta have some muscles in. Cutting short this conversation, this time I pulled a compress out of my desk. At times like this, Soka may be trying to clear up my depression, but just talking with her is a fruitless effort. That reminds me, I had something to tell you when I saw you, Akiya-chan. When Hanepin asked your word over some thought. However, she's doing it again. Hane forgetfulness is nothing new, so if you pay any attention to her, you'll be waiting till the sun rises. Soka said, quite truthfully, while otherwise ignoring Hane. I was busy with treating my cuts, so when she calmed down a bit, I might listen to Hane. By the way, Tohno, what have you been doing? You can't tell from looking? I've been treating my wounds. I can see that. What I'm asking is where you get those cuts. Does this mean another battle in the dorm pecking order is coming to a head? Soka looked relatively serious. I guess to her, the Tohno Akiya that quarrels with the upperclassmen is thus one involved in deeds of daring and cruelty. Of course not. You are utterly wrong, Soka. If they had that sort of courage to begin with, then during the election, I could have seized control of the student council. That's the truth. With a chuckle, Soka withdrew her guess. Why would the upperclassmen acting like bitches? Health of Akiya-chan. Normally, wouldn't it hurt to get into a fight? She's asking. Yeah, normally. But Hane, isn't Tohno normal? She's not very open, but she's a good girl, you know. I like Hane. I think she's pretty cute. Even if she's slow. For a moment, both Soka and I stopped breathing. When people in this dorm says Hanepin has no equal, this is exactly what they mean. In the dorm power struggles, Soka and I are amongst the strongest. However, when faced with Hanepin, even the strong lose all malice. Well, yeah, maybe. But you know, Tohno is more hot-tempered than most people, right? That's why if someone else picks a fight with her, she'll beat them to a pulp. Understand? I get it. Akiya-chan won't stop until she's satisfied, even if her victim's begging. See? But Tohno isn't foolish enough to start fights herself. She isn't afraid of rough politics, but should it come to that, she got to keep the conflict underground. This gives the semblance of peace, but the fact are so muddled that figuring out the real situation is a pain. It'll take too much time, and until some sort of treaty could be reached, there's neither a victor nor a loser, which makes the hierarchy too difficult to understand. One-san Akiya? That's the reason that although Tohno would have won, she's not the student council president. Akiya-chan is the vice president, right? Right. Tohno's been opposing the high schoolers ever since middle school. That was all just to tempt them into coming after her after she entered high school. She expected the upperclassmen to try to use force to pin her down as soon as she entered, but they turned out to be nothing but cowards and all talk. In the end though, all they did was complain about her, so she could only run for vice president rather than president. Why's that? If the upperclassmen weren't going to stop her, why didn't she run for president? That's because until they did something, she couldn't force that much of a transition of power. A power struggle is a savage but easy to understand relationship. Using straight conflict rather than propaganda and innuendo to snatch control would result in fewer future problems. That's what Tohno was trying for, but the upperclassmen just kept dancing around the fight, and even now, keep up the backbiting. Right? Asked Soka's eyes as she glanced at me. Annoying. When she says it that way, it makes it sound like the most malicious one of all. All she said was true though, so I can't object. So I give all my attention to treating my wounds. I pulled out my uniform and began to deal with my throbbing hip. I could feel Soka's shocked stare. So even hell freezes over, huh? Well, it doesn't bother me, but don't go around showing these sort of wounds to in front of underclassmen. You destroy their images of the invincible Tohno senpai, then next year you'll have no power in the student council, and it'll be on your own fault. Soka shrugged and turned a highly exaggerated shocked look towards me. How heartless, Soka. You can see from this red skin that your roommate's suffering, and yet you act like you don't care? What's this? Reminds you of Luca Chronosaur, Percy Jackson. Are you not even concerned over how I received such injuries? Crossing my arms, I glared at her. Soka quickly responded, no. This time, in her no tone of voice. If it were someone else, then I might be concerned. But for you and Hane, it would be pointless. Me, I'm more worried about the person that hurt you. I'm just asking as a friend here, but you didn't kill them, did you? Hold it, Soka. How can you say that with such a serious look on your face? How rude! I would never do something so uncivilized. There wasn't even anyone to retaliate against. I received this bruise when I tripped, that's all. Soka gave an audible what and a truly surprised look as if she'd seen a ghost. About these middle schoolers who supposedly speak of the invincible Tohno senpai. Perhaps the one that believed that the most is Soka herself? Is that true? Akia-chan, are you alright? Suddenly, Hanepin hugged me. Dang! Ah, jeez. If I were not alright, then I would be in the school clinic right now, wouldn't I? My hip hurts, so please don't cling to me like that. Tug tug, as I tried to pull her off me. Whined the unhappy Hanepin. Soka gave a lazy laugh and just watched as I held a hand to my hip and tried to ignore the pain. Well, I do feel somewhat better. Surrounded by roommates like these, even if only for a moment, I can forget about that darkness in my heart. Oh, the darkness? I wonder if that may have been exactly what I was hoping for when I chose to return early. A faint wind drifted in through the open window. The cold outside the air of January quickly cooled my flushed skin. That thin film of water, then condensed upon my still warm skin, felt pleasant, but my roommates did nothing about complaining. It's cold, it's cold. After dinner, after returning to our room from a common bath, I began to towel off my still damp hair. Excuse me, is Tohno-san here? Thump thump, someone knocked on the door. I didn't respond, but rather continued to stare out the window into the cold wind and darkened night. She's here. She's spacing out, but that's alright. Then come in. Soka responded for me. The sound of the door opening. Excuse me, Tamaki, familiar voice. It's Tamaki-chan. What? Did you bring me some candy? Yay! Hanepin excited voice. Sorry, dorm manager. Please just ignore that little joke. Anyway, since your target is like that, I don't suppose she'll be helpful. Soka disinterested voice. Unconsciously excluding the speaker from my sight, I played with my hair and stared at the night. Was Tohno-san always like this? Recently, yeah. It gets worse day by day, but tonight seems especially bad. Almost as if she were a girl in love, right? That's true. Tohno-san didn't seem to be the type to stare out the window in any new way. Rather, doing that sort of thing seems like an ill omen. Tamaki, I can hear you, you know. Without moving my gaze, I spoke. She is conscious! In that case, let me get what brought me here. Tohno-san, this is Shiju-san in your class, right? That girl had been emotionally unstable ever since she came back. Her roommate's been complaining ever since yesterday she's been acting strange. The dorms are under my jurisdiction, but the school side is yours, right? I know it'd be inconvenient, but would you please keep an eye on her there? That's sort of business, huh? I sighed in my heart. Right now, I have my hands full of taking care of myself, but I cannot keep ignoring things now that I return to school. Although in the first place, the dormitory was left to Tamaki, so that I could concentrate on student council business. She and I were friends back in middle school, but were in fact the student council together there. When we entered high school, she chose the student government. In other words, she entered the dormitory hierarchy, and together, hand in hand, we would change the foolish customs of the school. The student council and the student government still don't get along, but Tamaki and I, at the top of each organization, cooperate in secret, so giving or receiving requests or advice like this is quite normal. I understand. I'll do it. Seat number 8, Shiju Tsukasa-san, right? I will keep an eye on her starting tomorrow. Akiya-chan, Tsukasa-chan is number 9, isn't she? I'm number 10, and she sits right in front of me, so she'd be number 9, right? For some reason, dropping her work to the desk, mine of course, Hanapen corrected me. Ah, that's right. I really don't care about Shijo-san, so I had forgotten. Dang, that's cold. Simply accepting my mistake, I responded to the air. Hey, what's wrong? It looks like my partner Princess has lost her spirit. Seemingly concerned over my absent-mindedness, Tamaki nudged Soka's arm. Don't know. Ever since she came back from home, she's taking a bath. Have been enough to make her go flat like this. She'll go back to normal by tomorrow though, so don't worry about it. Unconvinced, Tamaki withdrew. Lying in bed, I slowly opened my eyes. The air was cold. The dormitory rooms have no heating, so the winter air by itself is enough to dry the skin. My depressed sigh puffed faintly white. Having passed the autumn and waiting and haven't even grown used to it, now is the middle of winter. With the snow not falling, the season had entered its coldest phase. Cold inside my heart, cold enough to freeze the only definite warmth. Still in bed, I looked out the window. No moon, floating in the dark heavens, leaving me to think tomorrow would be another dark and gloomy day. Well, if it continues to be this cloudy, then maybe there might be a snow flurry. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Hearing this OST got me excited, dude. I need to stop talking about the remake. Dude, I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear the new OST. I can't wait. I should look up who composed the music. Yeah, that would be just great. If it were bright and sunny, then maybe my mood would have changed a bit. My hair had grown out so much. I scooped up my proud black hair. Just 2 months spent waiting for he who would never return. Dang, I think this is. So, dang, this is weird. I like that. It seemed like because we picked Tens of Nights, right? This is, it seemed like a different timeline from the first one. Was it like the Fairy Princess Castle, whatever it's called? It seemed like in this timeline, in this world, I think Shiki's dead. Or gone at least, right? This might confirm this take place after Akiya true ending. I don't have any more. I have another bottle. I'm good. He who never returned. Nissan. In just that short time, I became so uneasy, I could not stand it, and left the estate to return to this dormitory. In November, from school transfer to transfer, not even a full week had passed when I fled to the dormitory. Dang, that's like when that's when Shiki died. I meant missing, right? He went missing. An Akiya true ending? Yeah, I think this really do confirm it. It takes place in Akiya true ending. Even so, every weekend I returned to the mansion, and this winter break I went home as well. Of course, this all did nothing but make me more anxious. There were simply too many memories in that mansion. When I heard a sound in the lobby, I would come running. Oh shit! And when at night I felt some presence in the corridor, I would fly out of my room. It was always Hisu at Kohaku, of course. The person I wished to see never appeared. Nothing but my imagination. At those times, my thoughts always turned utterly cynical. I remembered it all. I couldn't stand it, so I thought, just once, I would do something utterly unlike my usual self. I turned my gaze to my perfectly clean desk. The way Akiya is aggressive when dealing with the student council? She kicked me. Yeah, she's pretty aggressive. Yesterday, there had been a purple envelope there. That was a sign of my weakness, or if Soka said it, my girlishness. Recently, I seemed to spend every night sighing, as if I wished to expel even a little of my anxiety in my heart. That fear was not that he would never return. The true cause of my anxiety, that someday this impatient waiting would come to be a normal part of me. That self is what I fear. January 10th, 3-7. I wonder why I say 3-7. That's weird. But it's January 10th. I suppose I should enter into the main story. Wait, what does that mean? Who's talking right now? Troubles are troublesome because they give no warning. In the end, you can prepare no opposition. There are many problems that should have been left alone, will solve themselves, but many people think it better to solve them quickly. If they will end anyway, then why not finish them sooner? This is an opinion I share, and thus I act. However, before that, one more thing. I would like you to keep in mind that to finish off these problems does not mean solving the problem, but simply bringing them to an end. What does that mean? Whoa, she got her hair down. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, who is she? Wait a minute. Oh, that's Soka. What the hell was that? Alright, let's go on. Tohno, you got a guest outside. Class is over and just returned to my room. Soka similarly arrived, told me. A guest? For me? More than yesterday, I think. Can I let her into the room? Soka opened the door, said okay into the corridor. Who is she? Urged by Soka, a student who just recently had been in the same classroom as me timidly entered. Have you seen Carnival Phantasm? I seen it when I watched Stay Night, which is like 2015. So when I finished the Stay Night visual novel and finished watching the anime, I watched Carnival Phantasm. So that was like 6 years ago maybe. I still remember bits and pieces. I still remember a lot of it maybe, but I don't remember too much. I remember a lot of it, but not too much. I remember some of it. How about that? Her name is Shiju Tsukasa. Seat number 9. No club activities. Instead, she is one of the class staff members and an honor student. You saw her in 2017? That's cool. Please have a seat. If you come to me here, then this must be something you could have talked about in the classroom, correct? This should be a long discussion. Then shall I pour you some tea? No, I'm fine, thank you. This is a trifling matter, so please do not concern yourself. It's not so. I thought it might be. It was polite to ask once, however, so let us finish this before it becomes such that I am forced to leave my long-awaited tea unenjoyed. Hanging her head, Shiju Tsukasa seated herself atop the cushion. Soka sent me a glance when she had something to say, then pulled shut the partitioning curtains and began to change her clothes. What bring you here, Shijo-san? I bluntly asked. Shiju Tsukasa kept her head down, not raising it a bit. Perhaps she's taking a liking to the carpet design. Come on, Akiya. You know why she's got her head down. Well, I too shall say nothing. and wait a little while on her poor taste. Yeah, Akia is really cold. I knew she's cold, but I didn't think she's that cold. Thus, wordlessly, we passed exactly 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Tohno-san, do you know about the 7 mysteries of the school? Shijo Tsukasa said, as if to pique my interest. I have heard rumors. The broken phone in an empty room, or the dormitory, or the balcony of the school building, those sort of things. Yes, and the postal box in the real courtyard. Yes, that one. Tohno-san, do you know about the story of the mailbox? The girl's voice was rough, almost possessed. Though I knew, I shook my head. I see. No, you wouldn't have any interest in those things, would you, Tohno-san? Yeah, sorry. However, it seemed as if he has some sort of meaning to you. So it business has to do with the story of this poster box. Shijo Tsukasa again lowered her head. This time she did not remain silent, but head down, began bit by bit to tell her story. It was, in all points, stories of mysteries. Incidents that spring from some unknown events in this old school history, such as an embryo floating in formaldehyde in the specimen room, such as the voices of the dead heard from broken red telephone, such as an unaddressed letter being delivered to granting a wish. Shijo Tsukasa's story was, among those, one of the relatively quieter ones, one of those 7 mysteries that even now certain students used to have as a fun diversion. A rather embarrassing story, but this would do as a summary. There are places in the dormitory where the mail is delivered. Remnants from the school founding, there are mailboxes at either end of the floor or each floor, adjacent to the reception desk, or in the courtyards. Pretty much walk for a little while, and you will run into one. Among those, the mailbox that is said to be the oldest is the one in the rear courtyard. Why this story even began, I do not know, but supposedly, using a purple envelope without a sender name or an address on it, put nothing inside but a paper with a single wish written on it, and drop the letter into that mailbox. Then, should that letter be returned to you, 7 days later, in exchange for something important to you, your wish would be granted. A ghost story fairly typical of this sort of girls' school. I believe I already mentioned it, but even before Shijo Tsukasa began an explanation, it was a story I knew well. After finishing an explanation of the 7 mysteries and purple mailboxes and such, Shijo Tsukasa once again fell silent. So, in summary, Shijo-san, your letter was returned? Her body jerked. Ha! If it were only my problem, it would be complicated enough. But why do you have to deal with this sort of thing again? So, Tohno-san, how did you... Following your story, that could be the only place you were going. Even inside the truth or fiction of these 7 mysteries, you're gonna say it is not true that your letter has returned. You, Shijo-san, sent such a letter and had it returned. Is this not correct? Whether or not you should believe in these 7 mysteries or not is a different issue, however. The girl cowered and lowered her gaze. It seemed as she truly believes in the story of the purple envelopes. I see. And is this why your behavior has been strange lately? Shijo-san, in the classroom, you were a much stronger person. So it may not watch your image, but I believe I understand. If you have become this timid, then a number of days must have passed since your letter had returned. Yeah, my letter came back 2 days ago. I came back to the dorms on opening day, and when I arrived, there was a purple envelope sitting on top of my desk. I see. Somehow, this seems familiar. I muttered and sighed. Maybe she thought I was just speaking to myself, or whatever, but she tilted her head and stared questioningly at me. And then, I don't have the ear of God, so did you just wish someone to listen to your story? For what reason did you come to speak to me, Shijo-san? She just hung her head and seemed unable to speak. I'm not that patient of a person. Normally dealing with someone like this would have me yelling already, but this time of things are slightly different. Well, I mean, it is not unrelated to me after all, and I have some interest, just for reference, in what my colleague has to say. I'm troubled, is what she finally managed to squeeze from her throat. I never believed in these silly 7 mysteries. That was just a little fun, but it was nothing more than a whim that I just sent that letter. But then it came back, and I'm scared. What if? And then she again dropped her head and looked tearfully up through her lashes at me. If that wish were granted, then it would be inexcusable to you, Tohno-san. What a bare outline of nothing she has to say. Shidra-san, perhaps you could order your thoughts a little more. At this rate, it'll be supper time before you finish. I thought it would be wonderful if only she disappeared. Just that stupid, meaningless thing is all that I wrote. Yet that it might come true, I didn't know. Geesh, this girl, she finally starts talking and doesn't listen at all to what I ask. In other words, it's like this. Shidra-san, you return an opening day and find a purple envelope sitting on top of your desk. Previously, before the vacation, you had placed a letter in the mailbox in the rear courtyard. This letter, with neither address nor sender, was returned to you. The inconvenient thing is that this letter contains that you wish for a certain someone to disappear. It was to be just a little fun, and then had turned into this problem. Therefore what? I summarized this far, but could think of no words to continue. Yes, that's right. That's what I thought you might be able to understand. And that sort of thing, then, you feel bad leaving things as they are. You would like to solve the mystery of the letter before the destined 7th day? If that's how it was, then she should have straight out said so. And that way this topic could have been finished in just a few words, leaving behind this utter waste of... wait a minute. Why should I need to plunge headlong into solving your confusion? But Tohno-san, ever since middle school, people have said you're not scared of these things. And I only have 4 days left, so I thought that maybe it would be alright if I come talk to you. Again, looking up at me with scared eyes. Is it just my imagination, or is this girl more afraid of me than whatever might happen about this letter? In many ways, it is truly unflattering conversation. Myself, silent and arms crossed, her cringing and staring up at me. Another sigh. Doing this will never bring the matter to an end, and more than anything, I am not completely uninvolved. Just 4 days left, she said. On the 7th day after the letter returns, your wish will be granted. That is the common version of the story. Following that version, then she and I as well will have our wishes granted in 4 more days. In exchange, we lose something valuable. Of course, if only these 7 mysteries truly are magical charms of some sort. Alright then, I shall investigate. I believe that it is merely a prank by someone, and if the culprit is found, then you should be able to relax. Please. Shidra Tsukasa rose ghost-like before more, then turned and sluggishly left the room. She had been depressed when she had entered, but upon exiting, she seemed twice as grim. What is wrong with her? She came and forced me to listen to her. The least she could do is look a little relieved when she leaves. Well, that was a rather unusual story after all. Pulling the curtain aside, Soka stepped out. Dang, she was here the entire time? I didn't think she was eavesdropping. I mean, I guess. She couldn't leave, right? It was awkward if she came out of nowhere. Oh, she went back with a ponytail. I just realized that too. With nothing but a single sheet of thin cloth between us, I am sure that my conversation with Shidra Tsukasa passed through clearly. It's a good thing Hanai wasn't here. If she'd been here, there's no telling what strange direction this conversation would have gone. Now that you mention it, that is a godsend. Although, where did that prom child go? She had no club activities, so I would have expected her to return before me. Who knows? Probably she's been given another job to do by the upperclassmen. Ever since she got back to the dorm, she seems to have been buried in work. Didn't she ask you about her tools? She did. Those seniors are truly making good use of Hanai. They know her personality and won't let her refuse them, and having them take advantage of her is annoying me. I'm going to go retrieve her. Don't bother. There's only 3 months left, so picking a fight with the upperclassmen at this point would be waste. Hanai likes what she does, so there's no reason for you to get officious. I know that. It's just that I cannot stand the rising personalities of the seniors, and maybe Hanai is being deceived into volunteering. Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing. Just that, Tohno, on the inside, you really are overprotective. To strangers, your coldness itself, but to your allies, you're excessively soft. That be the reason student council staff were so attached to you during middle school, huh? Almost as if you were their beautiful, reliable Onesama. Damn, older sister figure. Be quiet. That was most annoying to me, so don't speak of it. Well, sorry, it just slipped out. A mocking laugh spilled out of Soka. Thanks to her, she made me remember what I wished to forget. Being considered reliable is fine, but I dislike having people become attached. Despite that, I had to deal with all the new middle school staff members tagging along after me, which was quite troublesome. So you taking up Shijo troubles? You said you'll investigate the 7 mysteries, but do you actually have a plan? If I didn't, I would not have gotten involved. However, there's one thing I'm stuck on and would like to understand. What are you stuck on? The question is, why would she come up to me? It is not as if I have ever been particularly close to Shijo-san after all. I tapped a finger to my lips and stared into space. When I did so, Soka swallowed some words and then gave a short laugh. Shijo made a wish for someone to disappear, so when her letter really came back, she was surprised, right? Causing someone to just disappear due to your own playful wish would leave a bad aftertaste. So the first thing to do would go talk to that person that just might disappear and warn them, right? Wait, you mean in other words? That's right, you. Speechless. The person Shijo wanted to disappear was Tohno Akia. Even so, you took up the cause explaining one of the 7 mysteries. Just shows you gather in one to your breasts. Even those breasts are flat as a board. Were an unbelievable words that Soka added to that. Then kept laughing. Dang. She got away with that too. Alright. When dinner was finished, our bath over. We held our customary tea session. Today's topic conversation was without saying the 7 mysteries. Dang, we get a CG. Alright. Dang, feet. Takuichi, perv. It's just superstition. Soka stated bluntly. The moment I asked, what do you think of the 7 mysteries? Huh? That's not true. The 7 mysteries really are true, you know. Busily bustling around working on something, Hanepin refuted Soka's claim. Oh? Then Hane, have you seen one of these 7 mysteries yourself? No way! So-chan, you know I can't stand scary things. That's why I never even thought of trying to see something as cursed as one of those 7 mysteries. Relax, Hane. Ghosts can only possess someone with intelligence. They'd be the ones to run away from someone like you. Really? Hooray! This means it's okay to cut through the cemetery on the way home, right? Soka, please stop talking to Hane. This discussion is proceeding in the wrong direction. So it is. I'll be more careful from now on. You two are so mean, always leaving me out. Well, that's fine. After this, even if you beg me, I won't help you because I'm busy on this work the teachers gave me. She looks so happy and cutting them. Snip snip went Hanepin scissors, cutting some colored paper. So all this stuff is class theft work. So, what do you think, Tohno? You said otherwise to Shijo, but do you believe in these ghost stories? In truth, I do believe, because I am one of those people. One of those who know that should the proper mechanism be prepared, curses and charms may be invoked. However, absurd. Purple envelopes and whatnot are just exaggerated stories, nothing more. Right. The school has a long history, but this sort of bloody past simply could not have happened. Without even a single ghost having ever appeared, such a thing simply could not be. Huh, how unusual. Soka actually spoke like a girl for a moment there. So, Soka, you shared the same opinion as me? Of course. Shijo was talking about cats flying in the sky or hearing the voices of dead people. Returning to the letter with no return address would be a bother since you don't know what to return it to. But if you get the past problem, there's a prank anyone could do. There's no mystery or anything at all. So then, tomorrow, when I begin to investigate Shijo Tsukasa and that mailbox, naturally the answer would be revealed. Without a doubt, nodded Soka. Hanapen was still objecting. That's true. They really are, and working with her scissors. By the way, Hanai, what are you making? This? You shouldn't be surprised. I'm making Akia-chan and So-chan. And him. Hanapen proudly puffed out her chest. Well, certainly you could see something vaguely person-shaped in the colored paper pieces she had glued to the cardboard. Then about that, she had written, "This is the student counseling room," in block letters. Soka and I wordlessly look at each other. I don't know who asked Hanapen to do this, but our faculty members must either really like jokes or have something wrong with them. And I'm not certain which is true. Again, I awoke. My insomnia is back again. At this rate, I might qualify for a record in a book somewhere. I have my hands full taking care of myself. What a pain, I muttered. Then remember Soka words. You're cold to strangers. That is certainly true. I'm just that sort of person. Actually, if he hadn't been there, I would be cold to everyone. I always had that coldness in me. I thought I was simply impossible that anyone would ever love me. But then, when did I start to enjoy being with others and sharing our troubles? I didn't want it to be hated. Because I heard the tone of blood. No matter what I did, I could not be like others. Utterly pointless to try. If no matter how I tried to smooth things over, I could never be the same. Then I would accept my differences and build a wall between us. And that's how people like me live. The method to know to protect ourselves. But I never wanted to be hated. That's why I, even my normally cold self, would act like him occasionally. I thought that if I could laugh with others and make others laugh, then at least I would share the same feelings. Thus I began my disguise. But that disguise was more pleasant than I had expected, and before I knew it, I had lost track of what acting and what was truly me. And before I knew it, I became this Tohno Akia, what others know. I am myself, after all. That coldness in me, which I thought was my strength, upon inspection might actually be rather warm. But even so, that I could ever learn to feel the warmth of others is all because of him. To me, Tohno Akia, he is my irreplaceable other half. You know, the way she's capitalizing he. What is she talking about capital letter Shiki? But then, you know, capital letter Shiki was like, they mentioned they never really got along. It was always Nanaya, right? To not confuse with the other Shiki. Nanaya and her. So I wonder why it's always capital letters for he, him. It makes me think she's talking about capital letter Shiki. Should I ever lose him? See, wasn't that what? Why is that not capital? Wait a minute. Should I ever lose him, I would probably return to the code. perverse self from long ago that knew no other way to live. She said, should I ever lose him, I would probably return to the cold, perverse self from long ago that knew no other way to live. Is he still alive? Maybe. Ha. That's why, seduced by my own weakness, I sent that letter. I made a purple envelope and left my wish to incubate in that mailbox. But in the end, I couldn't think of it as anything more than a simple prayer, and so I did not write a single word on that paper. The envelope contents was just a blank sheet of paper. If the 7 mysteries were true, and the curse of purple letter was real, the people must think Tohno Akiya to be a truly cold person. When the letter had returned to me, I began to think. Empty wish. Unwilling to ask for anything, yet still bothering to wish. Maybe convince God to return the letter to me as a punishment. How girlish. I combed my fingers through my long black hair. Just sleep already. I may only manage to doze a little rather than truly sleep, but even that is better than leaving my eyes open. The room creaked. The dry, cold winter air warped the wood of my dormitory. Amongst the noises, I suddenly thought, in exchange for something precious, your wish is granted. The only thing precious to me would be him. If I were to lose him in exchange for having him, what does that mean? Return to me. What does that mean? If I were to lose him in exchange for having him return to me, that sort of contradiction would be impossible. Oh, it's a contradiction. Okay, that's what it means. Then perhaps that I would lose would be my life. Or perhaps this black hair. After all, in ancient times, didn't they used to say that a woman's hair is her life? January 11. 4-7. What does that mean? The morning classes ended eventfully. These looked like a college course. Fourth period was an elective period, so the classroom was quiet. The students who remained in the classroom were those studying modern economics and business. Usually these were subjects required for no one but single daughters of large corporations. Yeah, that's like a college course. Usually that is so, but this time the number of participating students, myself included, was up to 10. Excuse me. The remaining 15 people had already moved to the music or cooking classroom. Ah, it's Akiya-chan! Are you alright? No injuries. Hanapin, who had left for the cooking classroom, returned. She was slapping her hands open and shut unusually energetically. Alright, or not, until a few minutes ago we were in class together. Oh, you asked such a thing. You see, just a little bit ago, in the cooking room, a bunch of people got hurt. A pot went boom and exploded when people were all surprised and bumped their knees and fell down and cut themselves. I see. Those of us who never once held a kitchen knife would all of a sudden start to play around with cooking and thus hurt themselves as well. Wait a minute, Hane. Cut themselves, you said, with a knife? Yep, it was bleeding a lot too. Shidro-san got taken to the clinic even. What? Shidro-san cut herself? Yep. It looked painful. Hanapen suddenly looked dark. I'm going to the clinic. Exactly what she thought of. I don't know, but Hanapen turned and left the classroom. I see. Shidro-san was injured. Muttering, I looked at my own hands. 5 band-aids wrapped around my fingers. Not that it meant anything. But I too had endured constant bruises and cuts ever since I returned to the dormitory. I wonder why she had a lot of cuts. Afternoon classes ended, and I at once returned to the dormitory. I had things to look at in the school building, but the first thing to do was to check on that mailbox. The dormitory is about 10 minutes walk from the school building. The dorm may be surrounded by a high wall, but since there is a direct path from the school building, it may be more proper to think that it's just one part of the campus. Students who enter the Asagami Girls Academy spend 6 years of their youth in this isolated space. Although myself, who return to my home every weekend, Soko, who leaves whenever the whim takes her, and Seo, whom, despite her obedient face, regularly break curfew and overnights outside, are probably in a special category. I didn't think they mentioned Seo. That's Akira-chan. It's gone. The mailbox was not in the courtyard. It was certainly there before winter break, but that old wooden post box has gone without a trace. Any traces of removal? I started investigating the grass, but having been here only once before, I did not know even where the mailbox had been. Searching like this almost makes me wonder if that mailbox ever actually existed to begin with. That's impossible. It's just so old that someone decided to remove it, is all. Drawing that conclusion, I returned to the school building. No one was in the student council room, since the break only just ended. It says no meetings were planned until next week. This was not unexpected. No surprise. If Kogase was here, it would be helpful, but everyone still seemed to be recovering from their vacation. Similarly, a first-year student, Kogase is the secretary and had matchless love of rumors. No one else knew as much of the school gossip as she did. If she were here, then I could finish this quickly, but since she's not, I guess I'll handle this myself. Rather, I would prefer to handle it myself. I don't get along well with the bottom glasses wearing machine gun chattering girl. Machine gun? It may be illogical to ask her, but if I can, I would prefer to solve this without meeting her. And then, click, the doorknob turned. It's Seo! Akira-chan. Tohno-senpai? As soon as she entered the room, the underclassmen began to shiver. My, how splendid! Come to the council room soon after the start of the year. Well, let me wish you a Happy New Year, Seo. Yes, thank you. Happy New Year, Tohno-senpai. The underclassmen give a very energetic response. This girl is Seo Akira, a middle schooler, second year. She is also the treasurer of the school council. She lacks calmness, but she has exceptionally quick thinking and sharp intuition. So while she will never be a mediator, her best hope would be someone's advisor. She is a real mood maker, so just having her present can make the meeting proceeding smoothly. None of that actually matters, however. There's a rumor that Tohno Akira is quite fond of this underclassman, and I have absolutely no intention of ever denying it. I had indeed taken a real liking to Seo nature, which was somewhat like a small animal begging to be bullied. Wow. Or perhaps tamed and broken. Tohno-senpai? Who brings you here today? I don't believe there's any student council activities have started yet. Me? I have something to look up, so I came by. Well, this is quite convenient. I believe the story might be better known among the middle schoolers than the high schoolers. Huh? What story, Tohno-senpai? You needn't look so eager to flee. The story doesn't really have anything to do with you, so you may as well relax a little. Yes, I will, said Seo and stiffened her back. I said relax, and she became more nervous for some reason, but I'll let that go for now. It is a silly story, however, Seo. Are you familiar with the school's 7 mysteries? Huh? 7 mysteries? Yes, those. Things like the hanging body in the mirror, or the moving garden. Moving garden. You know, when I think of moving garden, I think Kohaku. Because Kohaku, her garden moves. What I would like to hear about is not one of those grand stories, however, but the mailbox in the real courtyard. You mean the ones in the store at the purple envelopes? I had to wonder if she really understood how unimportant this topic was, as her face suddenly shone. I'm always charmed by this little girl, cute animal-like way of showing her every feeling. Just seeing a girl this innocent makes me want to torment her mercilessly. It's swelling tide of sadism that my reason is forced to keep suppressed. Yes, that mailbox. Are you familiar with that story, Seiyo? I wonder. I know that it was originally made to receive questionnaires and feedback to the school administration, but how it became one of the school's 7 mysteries, I don't know. So that was something for the school administration? I'm impressed, Seiyo, that you know such a thing. But it's a bit embarrassing, but the truth is that I found out about that when I was made to clean up the old storeroom as punishment for breaking some school rules. You know how the dorm lights out time is so early, right? That early, so there's no way I could finish my paper on time. So I was working in one of the bathrooms when the teacher found me. Damn, she was hiding in the bathroom to finish her homework. That's dedication. Happy or embarrassed, Seiyo smiled widely. Gotta be careful. This one's dangerously cute. I see. What are you doing is unimportant, but you got punished. And for the punishment, you were told to sort through the old postal items. Yep, that's right. The teacher I was working with at the time told me all about it. Originally, the mailbox was used for students to make demands of the administration. That's why the sender didn't write their names. Just like you don't write your name on a survey, right? I see. Survey also needs no address, so the letter would consist of nothing but the actual contents. But was there some special meaning to the purple envelopes? Seemed like there was. See, these days we take surveys in class, but back then a student council makes suggestions to the administrations at any time. Since they were delivered through a mailbox, the purple envelopes were there to differentiate them from normal letters. So then, any letter with purple envelope was consigned to the faculty room. That makes sense. Why that became one of the 7 mysteries is still unclear, but at least I know where I should go next. So then, all the letters I've been received should be in a storage somewhere. In the library? Yeah, that's right. The secondary librarian office. I think they were on the lower shelves on the eastern side. I see. Your memory is as impressive as always. Thank you, Seiyo. You have been quite helpful. Thank you, Seiyo. I left the student council chambers. From there, I turned my feet toward the faculty room, and brandishing my power as student council member, I acquired a key to the library. It was dusk. Less than an hour remained until the dormitory curfew. Uneasily, little time had begun my investigation, but it should not be insufficient. There was no other people in the secondary library. Originally, this was the school storage room that had been unguarded and graded to the library, so it was unpopular among the students and it had a few customers. Although I shouldn't be saying customers here. Pointlessly muttering, I crossed the library. The librarian office Seiyo had mentioned was in the back. Eastern shelf. Or not, there were no shelves anywhere else. Well, if there had been any other shelves in the room, no one had been able to take more than a single step inside the room. As it was, the room was a bit oblong, and about the size where the bed in my room only might fit. There it is. Opening the box on the lower shelf, I was presented with the word of purple. With neither sender or address name, purple envelopes were everywhere. At a quick estimate, there couldn't be fewer than 300 of them. Well, this was a possibility. Curses or rather witches may dwell within. Meaningless, nothing more than the varied wishes of the masses, who collected and, should ever be brought to light, would surely produce nothing but regret. But beyond that regret was hope. Ignited but granted by all these different types of desires, smoldering for long years, merely waited to burst into flame. However, in the first place, the school lacks that sort of conflict. With nothing but empty ceremony, nothing ever happened, I guess. Even so, I pre-used a number of letters to see if there was some sort of coincidence that might be considered a curse. Almost an hour later, there was nothing. I let out a sigh. Not only there was nothing explaining the 7 mysteries, there was not a single serious problem at all. It would have been better to avoid researching the truth of the 7 mysteries, and to start with attempting to ferret out the culprit. I just returned the letters sent by Shijo Tsukasa and Tohno Akia. Really, just what am I doing? Even though I knew it couldn't be, maybe somewhere in my heart I was expecting this legend to be true. Even if having my wish granted like this would have him come back. Idiocy. Pushing off the shelves, I stood and noticed the sticker attached to the boxes on that shelf. Scheduled incineration? Just as written, it seemed that as if all these unnamed envelopes are scheduled to be taken to the incinerator soon. The outside was stained a pure red. Oh no, I need to hurry! I wouldn't make the dormitory curfew in time. Even so, I rushed from the library. Or rather, since I refused to hurry, it might be more accurate to say that I walked the same speed as always. Then, that was surprising. The books in front of me, in fact the entire bookshelf, had collapsed, a quite unusual event. If I had been rushing, I would have been pinned beneath, I think. Excuse me. I wonder if you could call this good fortune. No, this is without a doubt misfortune. These recent few days where my feet have slipped on the stairs or my fingers have developed mysterious cuts and I'm unable to relax. Dang, she been like, those are from accidents? She really tripped? I thought she was lying. Dang, she get all those bruises and cuts because she tripped and fall? Wow. Nighttime after dinner. A time to enjoy the tea and sweets smuggled in through the black market routes. she got a box this time, bro. I like that. Hey, honey. How was Shijo's injuries? It looked painful. But the middle of her middle finger cut. Eee. I don't want to think about that, bro. That's nasty. Her middle finger, right? What's 10 centimeters? That's a lot. Ugh. I don't want to think about that anymore. Alright, I gotta read it though. They look painful. From the middle of her middle finger cutting down almost 10 centimeters, you know. Hanepin still hadn't finished whatever job she had given. It was working again tonight. Could you please be a bit more detailed? For example, the length of the wound or the width. Tohno, length or width or whatever. It was 10 centimeters deep and not a finger anymore. Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh. Soka was quite correct. If you swallow Hanepin words are given, Shijo Tsukasa would now be grieving over a 4-finger hand. You know what's funny? I can do gruesome scenes, but I hate it when they go into detail. If they go into detail, that's when I can't stomach it. If they show me a picture of a gruesome scene, I'm okay with that. But, you know, describing, you know, the wound, I can't do that, bro. I don't know why. It makes me feel weird. Honey, I'm asking seriously here. Huh? I am serious, you know. I got a glance at it, and that was how much it seemed to hurt. Hane feels the pain of others tenfold, which would mean 1 centimeter cut. Oh. Yeah, that's still deep, but man, bruh. I thought it was something else. That's something that can be laughed away as an accident in cooking class. Yep, it must have hurt a lot. Shijo-san was shivering and muttered, "What should I do? What should I do?" all while she was being bandaged. Soka and I looked at each other. Ignore Hanepin, who didn't know about the letter incident with Shijo Tsukasa, while Soka and I did know. Ah, she turned around, bro. She's smiling. I like that she has the little watermarks on her head, too. This was nothing more than a table of a finger cut during cooking class. However, the timing is so bad that while I cannot seriously believe this has some connection to the School of Seven Mysteries, to her, this must be more than just a terrible coincidence. It's hard. Nothing for you to be all concerned over. I understand that, Soka. I just thought that this was bad timing, that's all. Akia-chan, you seem kind of depressed. I know. It's about your brother. Alright. Excuse me. Please tell me, is he alive or is he dead? I want to know. Phew, that was close. I nearly spit out my tea. Hold it. Why are you saying such a thing without any evidence whatsoever? Huh? But you transferred school to be with your brother, right? But then you come back so soon, so I thought you had a fight with your... I'm gonna call it Nissan. That's because that's Akia's favorite car, right? She likes to ride a Nissan. I hate myself for that sometimes too. Only sometimes. Sometimes though, it does make me smile. Like right now. Wait a minute. Wait a moment. Who did you hear that from, Hanai? That person. Hanapen pointed directly at Soka. Well, I thought it's about time for me to go to sleep. Soka begins to flee casually towards her. Hold it right there, you babbling woman. I grabbed the nape of her neck and pulled her back towards me. Soka is one of the shortest students. Damn, bro, she's short in the school and barely heavier than a shuttlecock. In a challenge of physical strength, I could easily control her. Huh, what a shame that you would turn out to be the one saying all this stuff about Tohno Akia has a Nissan complex, Soka. Isn't this what they call the traitor within? They're making out. What the hell? You there, shut up! I flung a slipper at the carefree gallery. Ouch! The collapsing gallery. Excellent, it hit. What then, Soka? How do you intend to atone for this? Ever since I returned to school, I've been forced to put up with the suspicions on my relation with my Nissan from strangers who doesn't even know him. Do you have even a single millimeter of comprehension as to how irritated I am? Gripping Soka's arm, I pulled her face close. As though she could sense how serious I was, she gave a rare twisted expression. Wait, you misunderstood, Tohno. Hane was lonely, so I just tried to give her some comforting words, that's all. It's not like I thought it was interesting to spread around the school or anything. The minute you saw Hane, it is known throughout the entire school, and you certainly should have understood that, you. Sorry, Tohno. I didn't think you'd be coming back, so it just slipped out. And the mouth that let something like this slip out was in this mouth, huh? Ow, 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 ow. What are you doing? It's not like you to resort violence in response to an unavoidable accident. Where's your usual logical self? Leave it behind? Or maybe that's why you stare out the window in the forest every night. Oh! Nissan. That's how the rumor you got dumped by your Nissan and came back running here started. Oh! It's indecent. Damn, bruh. Damn, bruh. Damn. Why, Soka, at this moment, I'm just swimming composure. The two of us drove strength into our arms. Aikido or whatever. Even Soka has her strange defensive art or ghostly footwork. Since I got a grip on her, she's nothing more than a short girl. Hey man, don't underestimate martial arts, Akia. Normally, she's impossible to catch a hold of, but this time I win. Wow, Aki-chan's gonna rape So-chan. In an instant, all the strength left my body. Soka didn't miss her opportunity, jerking her arm free and jumping into bed. Cool down, fool! I admit I'm at fault for telling Hane about your Nissan. But it's my fault, but the reason everyone else keeps talking about you is because you've been constantly dejected. Red to her ears, Soka shouted, then pulled her curtains shut. I'm going to vote with So-chan. Akia-chan, if you don't show up a little bit, you'll be very lonely, you know. Leaving her work unfinished and untidy, Hanapen also climbed into bed. With a sudden change in atmosphere, somehow I didn't feel like drinking any tea by myself. I understand. I'll just go to sleep, alright? And gracefully, I turned off the lights and climbed into my uncomfortable bed. And as usual, another sleepless night came. To alleviate the boredom, I revealed all the events of the day, and thought back to what happened in the library. The straightforward letters, the collapsing bookshelf, and all the little wounds I've been suffering lately. It's been becoming a bit more serious, but today wouldn't have been something to laugh at. So, does she understand? No, she doesn't understand. That's why I won't stop. Surely this latest incident will merely give her more impetus. I didn't intend to ignore for a while the minor scratches I've been receiving, but it seemed like I am not allowed to. How foolish. Why am I playing along with this curse? Probably because I wish to believe in myself. Right now, I'm so dejected that I'm almost willing to leave, granting that which I desire more than anything else up to fate. It's just as Soka said. I started on a whim, but as things kept happening, I started to get interested. You can call this type of conflict, I guess. Coincidences roll on, but if you could see from above, those tracks would become a cursed circle. If so, then this timing is bad for which one of us? January 12th, 5-7. Oh, I get the numbers now. It's the 5th day out of the 7. Alright. I get it. So, she only has 2 days left now. Let's see. I think I'm gonna call a stop here for today, bro. I'm not gonna lie. My voice is kind of tired, dude. So, let me save. I want to do this in one shot, but that seems hard. So, I'm gonna save right here. I'm gonna make sure it's saved. And hopefully it works. So, we'll continue on next time. We'll do the last 2 days. Next time. Oh, it's Len. What's today looking item? Curry ramen? Is it always gonna be curry? Alright, let's end it. I'm curious. Graphics. What's this called? I saw Akia in her laundry. I'm like, oh, I got a sensor. This is called Dream. Dude, I might be spoiling myself a little bit, but I need to. Because I'm trying to wrap. Whoa, that looks sick. We'll look at those later. So, I guess these are just, whatever. Grass Moon and Dream? Dang, what does Dream mean? Think they're not real? You think that's what it means? So, all these events are probably not real? I'm guessing? And then Grass Moon is probably the reality. Probably. Do I have any more? No, I don't. That's interesting. Very interesting. So, I want to make this theory before we leave. But 10 Nights of Dream? I want to make the story for the evening. I'm going to predict this one. I think this is after Akira Rao. Right? I think this is a dream too, though. That's why it's called 10 Nights of Dream. But this is after Akia's true ending. So that's why it's a dream. That's why her CG appears in Dream. So I think the true ending of Tsukihime, they said it in the fan disc, is probably arc good ending. Because that's when everyone's technically alive. So I think I shouldn't call that the true ending. Let's make this let me word it a little bit different. I think Kagetsu Tohya is based on arc true ending. So I think Twilight Grass Moon Fairy Tale Princess, I think that might be the reality, maybe? Or illusion. I don't know which one. And the Nights of Dream is the dreams. And the story of the evening is gonna, you know, continue from Akia true ending. Since the reality seems to be based on arc good ending. I know that sounds confusing as hell. Cause it is, dude. It's like multiple. It's like a multiverse, I guess. All right, let's see. But that's the end of that. We'll continue on next time. So I appreciate when I stopped by. It's been cool. We'll finish up. What's that called again? The Akia stuff next time. All right, later. Bye.